I think Atlanta is in an interesting spot. I done heard they're inquiring about Pascal Siakam right now. I like DeJounte Murray. I like Trey Young. I like Onyeka Okongwu. I like Jalen Johnson, Kobe Buffkin they just brought in. But I don't know what's going on with Atlanta. I think it was more people available at their pick. They could have took a swing on Cam Whitmore. That's gonna be the cornerstone of this conversation today. Cam Whitmore and how many people passed on him. When Cam Whitmore came out of high school, I watched him in McDonald's All American Game, Jordan Brand Classic. I watched him play for the Olympic team, the U18, 19 team. He played with Anthony Black. And I thought Cam Whitmore is just special. Like, think of Anthony Edwards' powerful explosion in Miles Bridges' body with a Jimmy Butler level competitiveness. That's why I thought of Cam Whitmore. I thought he was a top prospect in college basketball until Brandon Miller just emerged and Cam Whitmore got hurt anyway. But I feel like a lot of people passed on Cam Whitmore that shouldn't have, and I think Atlanta was one of those teams. If you look at Atlanta, you look at their wing position. They got Sadiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin. None of those dudes is keeping me from drafting a talent like Cam Whitmore. And I think you could have passed on Kobe Buffkin. I understand people was comparing him to Derek White, but I just would have liked Atlanta to swing for Cam Whitmore right there, just in case. But that's neither here nor there. Muhammad Guy, Atlanta picked up the big from Washington State. He's very bouncy. He got shooting potential. He's probably a couple years away, but that's okay because their front court is loaded. So I did like that pick, even though I don't know if he's going to play for them because, like I said, they got Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, John Collins, Clint Capella. Their front court is very loaded, but he will take a couple years anyway. So to sit him behind them guys is cool, and he provides insurance for them. But I'm gonna give them a C. I think Atlanta could have did better, but it is what it is. It's a C. Boston Celtics, they drafted Jordan Walsh. I think when you lose a guy like Marcus Smart, like that intensity, that team first mentality, it has to be replaced. I think Jordan Walsh is a plug and play guy. You can put him in the playoff setting right now, and he can guard 1 through 4, 1 through 3, probably in the NBA, 1 through 3, or 2 and 3s. But I think Jordan Walsh, you can play him right now, and he'll be ready to contribute. He plays hard, shit like that. I'm giving them a B. Brooklyn Nets, they got no. See, Brooklyn Nets, that's very interesting what they did. Brooklyn Nets got Noah Clowney, Derek Whitehead, and Jalen Wilson. I think Noah Clowney and Derek Whitehead was both high upside picks, and Jalen Wilson was a production pick. I could easily see Derek Whitehead emerging as a guy for them, especially next to Mikal Bridges. I think Derek Whitehead is an underrated playmaker, underrated three-level scorer. He's great in transition. He rebounds. He hustles. He just plays the right way. He's coming out of Montverde. He's played with a lot of stars. He's played off stars. He's played as a no one guy. I think he's going to come in and he's going to surprise some people because people forget he's a top 10 talent. He's one of the best players, one of the youngest players coming out there, 2022 high school class. And I think he's just a very high upside pick. Noah Clowney, you could project him as a switchable big that could be also space the floor and pick and pop situations. You could say at his highest, it could be like that 16 point per game, Chris Bosh type of role. So I like that. I like that for Noah Clowney. Jalen Wilson out of Kansas. He's a guy that you bring him in and just see what he can do. He's a big body. He's played in a lot of intense situations, played a lot of tough games, meaningful games in Kansas. So you just bring him in. I think I gave the Brooklyn Nets possibly a A. Yeah, I gave them an A. Now we get to the Charlotte Hornets. They picked Brandon Miller, Nick Smith Jr., and Amari Bailey. I really like what the Charlotte Hornets did. And hey, if you're not paying attention to basketball, you're not understanding what the Hornets could potentially have. If Miles Bridges come back off of whatever the hell he had going on, If LaMelo Ball can come back from injury, you still got PJ Washington, Mark Williams. Just think about this, y'all. A lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Mark Williams, and Nick Smith Jr. coming off the bench. I think the Charlotte Hornets did a really good job. I'm gonna give them B because it was they did a good job. I would give them a B. I probably could upgrade that to an A. Chicago Bulls got Julian Phillips. I like Julian Phillips. He's supposed to be like a Trey Murphy type of guy. He didn't have the greatest season at Tennessee, but I like that pick for where they got him. I like what the Bulls did. That's a B plus. Emoni Bates, I give that a B for Cleveland. I think you lack shooting at that small forward position. He provides shooting, so you know what I'm saying. I like that swing. Dallas Mavericks, I give them an A. Derek Lively and Maxence Prosper. I think with the Mavericks, I'm a Mavericks fan. They addressed a lot of defense, so I like those picks, especially Derek Lively, and he could be people. I was hearing people say, "Oh, you bringing in another Dwight Powell?" Hey, if Derek Lively's a 7'1" Dwight Powell that can potentially stretch the floor and pass, I'll take that. I think Derek Lively was the best defensive big in his draft class. He's the number one player in 2022 coming out of high school, the number one player. And I think the Mavericks taking him, I think that's just perfect. He's a team first guy. He low maintenance. I like that a lot. And then you got Maxine Prosper, who you expect to eventually replace Dorian Finney-Smith. I like that pick. I gave the Dallas Mavericks an A. Denver Nuggets, they picked Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett. Julian Strawther going in the first round. I'm not sure. They probably could have got better value there, but I feel it. Julian Strawther coming out of Gonzaga, he played with Drew Timme. So playing off of him, Julian Strawther will probably come in right away and know how to play off Jokic, get his shots, and be a solid role player for Denver Nuggets going forward, even though they probably did stretch and get him a little high. But Jalen Pickett, I'm not too familiar with him out of Penn State, but you probably looking for him to eventually replace the Bruce Brown role. That's one thing I like about the Nuggets when they draft, that they replace guys that they think they're going to lose, or they just replace guys that can fit in their system. So I still give them a C plus because I think it was better guys that could have got at both picks. But you know, Detroit Pistons, they selected Ausar Thompson with the fifth pick. They got Marcus Sasser in the trade, and they drafted James Nagy. I think the Pistons are the second worst team in the league when it comes to roster construction and young talent, right behind the Wizards. I like Ausar Thompson. I'm not sure I like him for the Detroit Pistons. I think they could have traded down and got a lot more value and got a lot more needs to fill. I think the Detroit Pistons have doubled down and got a lot of players that have overlapping skill sets at pretty much every position. So I gave them a D. I'm not going to lie. Golden State Warriors, Brandon Podziemski and Trace Jackson Davis. Brandon Podziemski, he was a draft riser because what he did in the combine scrimmages. I like him. He's a catch and shoot threat. He can just score the ball. He's kind of Tyler Hero-ish in a sense. Like he's a get a bucket guy. He's not gonna give you too much on defense. Solid pick, 6'5". Trey Jackson Davis is the pick that I really like for Golden State. He provides you a little bit more size and athleticism and wingspan. He's like 6'9" with a 7'2" wingspan, but he still can get up and down the court. He's not a traditional big, but he's still kind of big enough, and he's seasoned. He can come in and play right away. I think Trace Jackson Davis is making the Golden State Warriors roster like pretty quickly. But I still get him a C plus because I think they could have swung on Cam Whitmore as well. That's gonna be the theme of this live stream. People that could have swung on Cam Whitmore. But I give Golden State a C plus. Houston Rockets, they got Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore, and it's crazy because I like Amen Thompson and I like Cam Whitmore, and I think both of them have star potential, but I don't like neither one of them for the Rockets. I think the Rockets could have used Anthony Black. He's a connector piece. He's a great defender. He's a playmaker. He's good in transition. He provides a lot of effort, and he's just a connector piece. And I felt like he would have been better for the Rockets than Amen Thompson, even though they're both wing guard type of hybrids. I just like Anthony Black for their culture, and you could have played Anthony Black with KPJ and Jalen Green, no problem. I don't think a man has the intangibles that Anthony Black possesses. That could just be me. That could just be me, but that's just what I think. I give the Houston Rockets a B. Indiana Pacers, they got Jarris Walker, Ben Shepherd, Isaiah Wong. I kind of like the Pacers roster. You got your cornerstones and Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Miles Turner, but I think Miles Turner, he's a top 5 center just based off his skill set and what he can actually do on the court. If they keep him going forward, I wouldn't mind it. I think they have one of the most intriguing front courts in the NBA with Turner, with Jalen Smith, with Isaiah Jackson. They all bring unique qualities. Isaiah Jackson, he can run the floor. He can guard on the perimeter. Good in the passing lanes, block shots, lob threat. Jalen Smith, he can stretch the floor a little bit. Didn't have the best shooting year last year, but I think he can stretch the floor. He can shoot, and he can block shots as well. So I like the Indiana bringing in Jarris Walker. I hope they don't think Jarris Walker could play small forward because I don't think he can. It's just something about him that just makes him strictly a power forward in my mind or a small ball five. Ben Shepherd, he looks like a prototypical 3-and-D wing. Isaiah Wong, I really like Isaiah Wong. He's one of my favorite second round guys. He had a big, heavy scoring load at Miami. He's a combo guard, like in the vein of a CJ McCollum to me, probably a bargain CJ McCollum, but I really like Isaiah Wong. So I give Indiana Pacers a B plus. The Clippers, they got Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller, two wings with upside and plug and play potential. So I give the Clippers a B plus for where they got those guys. The Los Angeles Lakers, I give them an A minus for getting Jalen Hood Schifino. I think Jalen Hood Schifino could have been possibly a top 10 pick. He was getting comps to Spencer Dinwiddie, but I think he plays a little bit more controlled than that. I think he can be your actual lead point guard, and he can defend, play make, hit the midi. I think his shooting touch is growing. I just like everything that Jalen Hood brings to the game, so I give the Lakers A minus. Memphis Grizzlies, they got Gigi Jackson and Tariq Bieberovic. Memphis just took a swing pick on Gigi Jackson. Not bad, but yeah, I give it a C plus. Miami Heat, they drafted Jaime Jaquez. I give them a B minus. So I love Jaquez. I love that he fits Heat culture to a T. But do I necessarily think Jaime Jaquez was the best player available? No, I don't. The Miami Heat was another Cam Whitmore swing team that I thought was going to swing on the talent of Cam Whitmore, and adding a guy like that who has alpha dog mentality to the Heat culture. I thought that would have been something, but I guess they had other plans, and Jaime Jaquez fits them. So I give them a B minus, but I feel like they could have did better. Milwaukee Bucks, they got two wings that can't necessarily shoot, but I think Chris Livingston has some upside and he's flash shooting potential. Andre Jackson is a connector piece, just fresh off a national championship with UConn. So he's plug and play, a little older, but you surround him with shooters, and I really like those guys. So I give Milwaukee's a B. Minnesota Timberwolves, they did what they could with where they was getting their players. They got Leonard Miller and Jalen Clark, both in the second round. I like both these guys, but you already have Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, two defensive stalwarts in those positions. But just adding defensive talent to your team, I can't be mad at too much, but you get a C plus because I just feel like they didn't address no weaknesses. They only added to their strengths. The New Orleans Pelicans added Jordan Hawkins. He's a movement shooter. Just think of him as a guy that you can plug and play into the Golden State system, run around screens, quick release, hit you in the eye, dead eye shooter. But I don't see where the minutes go come from in New Orleans. But he will eventually be a good trade piece if they ever want to go that route, or if they make a trade with Zion or somebody like that. He's a good piece. So I give them a B. The Knicks didn't have a pick, so Oklahoma City, they got Casey Wallace and Keontae Johnson. I don't know why Oklahoma City is not getting a true big, especially since I think the league is going back big. I like Case and Wallace. I think he's going to be a hell of a defender. I think he could be a third option if he was sent somewhere where he could flourish. I don't necessarily like the fit for him. I don't know where his opportunity go come from, but I do think he's a good player. Keontae Johnson out of Kansas State, I like him, but it's like they're already loaded at these positions, so I'll give them a C plus. Orlando Magic, Anthony Black, Jett Howard. This was a team that had 2 lottery picks. They had 6 and 11. I thought they could have got Anthony Black and Case and Wallace. They could have got Anthony Black and Jordan Hawkins. They could have got Anthony Black and Grady Dick. I'm not necessarily, I like Jett Howard, but as high as they went to get him, I'm not sure. But overall, they both were solid players. They're both good players in my mind. And I both think they're going to be productive, but I give them a B. 76ers didn't have a pick. Phoenix Suns, they got Monty Kamar. He's a guy that looks like he has a intriguing skill set as a big. I've seen him knock down shots, run the floor a little bit. So I give that a B for where they got him. Portland Trailblazers, I give them an A. They got Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, and Ryan Rupert out of France. I feel like they got a star of the future in Scoot. They got a solid rotational big or starting big in Chris Murray at the power forward position. They got Ryan Rupert, a hell of a defensive guy. I was seeing some people trying to compare him to Mikal Bridges. So I give their grade an A, and they got the guy from Draft Express over there, so he know how to draft. Sacramento Kings, they got Kobe Jones. He's a combo guard. I heard comparisons to Malcolm Brogdon. I think Kobe Jones is going to really make some noise, but we'll have to eventually see. So I'll give Sacramento a B- on that. San Antonio Spurs got Victor Wembanyama and Sidi Sissoko. Victor Wembanyama, of course, he's supposed to be the next great prospect since LeBron James. And then you add a Frenchman, Sidi Sissoko, who's a wing, but he has a game that's just going to contribute to winning, in my opinion. So I like that pick. I give him an A. Toronto Raptors got Grady Dick. I thought he was better players available, but he is a good shooter, but he was better players available. So I get him a C plus. Utah Jazz, they get an A minus. They could have got an A plus if they would have got Cam Whitmore, another Cam Whitmore team that I feel like they could have taken a swung on them. But they got Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh. I really like Keontae George. I feel like he has Jamal Murray potential. I seen him in high school at IMG Academy. He's having 40-point games. He's hitting multiple game winners. He's a clutch time player. He just has the it factor. So I like them getting Keontae. Taylor Hendricks, he's a Jeremy Grant type player in my mind. Bryce Sensabaugh, he's a get a bucket guy. But he has scary medical, so we see how they go. I give Utah A minus. Washington Wizards, they went and got Bilal Coulibaly, who if he would have came out in 2024, he probably would have went where he went. He'd been a top 5, top 10 pick. He's a wing, kind of in the mold of a Trevor Ariza. I feel like he's going to play some solid minutes next to Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole. They also got Tristan Vukovic, a guy who was killing the combine, who I didn't know who he was. So I give the Washington Wizards a B plus. And this is basically my grades.
Found some shit I love to do, so I can live comfortable. Searching for a peace of mind, need that when it's time to rhyme. Perfect in every line, any chance I get, and I know it takes time, but I would never quit.